Rather than opening a brand new file and copying and pasting things as I suggested in the prior video, I think I've got a better way to work this out. And again, we're learning. We're learning about workflow and process and refining it. So this isn't a stopping point. This is a next step on our journey. So for right now, I would like to isolate one single object. What are these patterns right here made of? We'll get to the other ones. I'm not going to make a video about it, but the process will be exactly the same. So we have a 5a.ai. Whatever your file is called, you need a naming convention that you can stick with and work with from this point forward. So I'm going to go ahead and save as. File, save as, Shift Command S. And then I'm going to go into my folder that contains everything, and then I have that pattern samplers where I have a 1A and 1B folder. Well, why not make a new folder and just stick with this naming convention if you've already got something started, if you paid attention to this video back when it was made, that prior video back when it was made, and let's call this thing 1C, right? Pretty simple. So we have our naming conventions working for us. Now we need to locate what file is what. Now, I went ahead and did this off screen so you don't have to watch me. I know for a fact that if we come back out here to this, select this, that this pattern right here to this pattern right here are all made of the same objects. And the way you test this, and there's a lot of different ways to do this, but here's one of them. Double click on the pattern and then change this to 1 by 1. So you can see what it is. Hey, look, little yellow, orange, lighter orange, whatever colors those are. And that file right there, if we double click on this one and change it to 1 by 1, hey, look. Same thing, right? That's red. Was that other one red? Let's just make sure. Pretty easy. Come over here, and yeah, those are the same colors. So what we can do, go ahead and close, just hit escape to get out of that so we don't make a new pattern, is we can click and shift click and delete those, drag those to the trash can right there. And then remember, we've already saved this, so we have everything that we're throwing away, we have it in another file. And then these are probably spot colors we used. Let's not delete any spot colors, but we can come and shift click. I clicked and shift clicked and dragged these to the trash can. And then once again, we'll go ahead and click and shift click, drag those to the trash can. And again, I'm not throwing away spot colors. Click and shift click. And now, we got 3 more patterns here. Throw those away. Now we got spot colors preserved. We have our patterns. We need to rename these things, right? So we can actually make our, if I click on this, click right here, and that's boring. If you have a boring pattern, throw it away. You don't need to save every single pattern. That's kind of funky. Could we use that in another way? If there's a question, save the pattern. But go ahead. Let's just double click. And instead of new pattern 2, we can call this 1C1, right? That was our naming convention. And just hit return. Then go to the next one. And 1C2. And I'm not going to go down the list, but you get the idea that then we can go ahead and when we get out into, I hit escape to get out of pattern creation mode. We get out here, we click once, make sure that bottommost layer is off, and we can save out JPEGs. The final step, this is important, is to come down here to this bottom one Here is what we made our pattern out of. So I'm going to hold down Shift while that's selected, and then holding down Shift, I'm just going to drag out a rectangle, which is going to select everything on this page, and deselect that. Hit delete, and now we have the object our patterns are made out of. And we can come here, close that up, and if we turn that off, we come here and we have the patterns that were made out of that single object that we can now rename, save out JPEGs. Remember, I showed you how to save this. So I'm not going to go through this again, but this is 1C1, right? And the 80 was there for the blurs. I'm going to crank that back down to 60. Do make sure that you're not saving these out at 80. You don't need to. They're 1920 by 1080, just like that. And when you save these out, after you save the first one to the right place, and where are we at? SCO Media. It's inside Documents. Oh, I know where it is. You got to know where your files are. And inside our pattern samplers. And really important, right? 1C1. That's the name of that JPEG, the same as the pattern. Then you work through this and you have a collection of JPEGs, an AI file, and your patterns that are all named so that we can find the source of each file. Do you get it? It's going to take some thinking on your part, and it's really going to be a big help. If you don't get to this, it's not the end of the world. I still want to collect your patterns, but you will save someone else an awful lot of work by organizing your files. And that's part of being on a team, part of being a production artist, and part of learning how to craft your files in such a way that you can use them in the future if you choose to come back and learn more about starting your own business, which is what MacLab Media is all about. It's helping you bootstrap yourself so that when you leave after several years in the MacLab, you will have the necessary skills in order to start your own business.